Welcome to the second Artist Report. My name is Milton Lim, and I am part of the digital storytelling team at The Culch. Last Thursday, we saw Derek Chan and Robert Leverous's saturated, polyprismatic, dinner plate tectonic, psychochromatic world existing both above and below a bed in episode 1 of The Relay, entitled Days of Days. Now, just a reminder that each episode will be drastically different as the relay is handed off to a new pair of artists every 2 weeks. And on that note, I'd like to give a warm welcome to the relay, our Week 2 artists, Ty Amy Groman and Connor Moore. Ty is Métis, Cree, and Haudenosaunee from Ardrossan, Alberta. An accomplished actor and playwright, Ty recently received the award for Outstanding Youth of 2020 from the Métis Nation of Alberta for the work she is doing to unravel the stories of Métis women in Treaty 6. She is also the recipient of the 2018 Jesse Richardson Award for the Most Promising Newcomer, as well as the 2015 Vancouver Mayor's Emerging Theatre Artist Award, nominated by Mark O'Kane. As an actor, she has performed at the Grand Theatre, the Arts Club, and Savage Society. Ty is also an artistic associate at Savage Society, an associate artist at Citadel Theatre, and a part of Why Not Theatre's This Gen Fellowship, in addition to also working on playwriting commissions with Night Swimming, Access Theatre, and the Arts Club. Ty is currently translating her play, You Used to Call Me Marie, into Cree and Michif. Connor is a lighting, projection, and set designer based in Vancouver with an MFA in theatre design from the University of British Columbia. He has worked with It's a Zoo, Arts Club, Vancouver Opera, Shaw Festival, Bard on the Beach, Vancouver Playhouse, and Rumble Theatre. He is a board member of the Associated Designers of Canada and a core member of the Vancouver Design Forum, as well as a member of IATSE 118. He is currently completing an MA in Labor Studies and Sociology at SFU, studying the working conditions of Canadian theatre designers. A question for Ty. You're an incredibly active playwright whose work is rooted in history and resists the Western structure of plays in order to frame the way that scripts tell Indigenous stories. What kind of framing devices or perspective shifts excite you as a creator, and in what ways have they manifested in your works?
I kind of start, when I write, it's really the story that shapes the show. I don't start with a shape. I play around with time a lot, and I make time very circular. I never go in planning to do that, if that makes sense. Like, I'll start with a person and their story, and then by consequence, that creates a structure and a time signature. So I work with Kathleen Flaherty a lot. She's like my fairy godmother, anti-dramaturg. And she said to me the other day, she's like, well, I mean, you don't really have a process. You just kind of do it. And I feel like that's the stage I'm at with playwriting right now. So You Used to Call Me Marie. Its structure emerged because it's a love story in 8 different historical periods. So when we workshopped the play this past October, what we found is that what's happening in the world changed the structure of the story.
Do you have a specific way that that has manifested in your work, or like a very specific example of how it changed the direction or the form?
Something really interesting that happened. So when You Used to Call Me Marie, there's a big fur trade story. And essentially that story is about Louis Calahoo, big rich Mohawk man, came from Ontario to move the fur trade into the prairies. And then that's where he ended up staying and creating all these children. And that's who I'm from, right? And so what we found in that story of You Used to Call Me Marie is all of a sudden the play, because it's quite it's told from a feminine perspective, and it's circular, which is the feminine. What we found in that story is that all of a sudden the structure got really hyper masculine and Western, because that was the emergence of the patriarchy in our communities. I wrote very like concrete and rising action, climax, falling action, when I didn't do that anywhere else in the play. So that's kind of how I work with structure, but I don't plan it. All I am is stories. That's all I am, really, like as a person. I'm just all the stories behind me, and I can try and think of the ones in front of me, but really all I am is the stories behind me. And so all I can do is remember them, and they'll tell me how they want to be told.
I would like to move over to Connor. You've stated before, Connor, that you're specifically interested in designing for politically and socially active theater. So beyond the fact that you've used some historic images in your projection work, what is another specific way that your design approach changes when you are working on politically engaged performance?
First of all, Congratulations, Ty, on that 2020 Youth Award. That sounds amazing. I also had the opportunity to see at the Massey in October the version of Used to Call Me Marie in the workshop format, and it was awesome. So I certainly look forward to seeing more of that. In terms of your question, I don't really have a different process depending on how politically or socially active the theater piece itself is. I think I look for every opportunity to push the bounds of anti-capitalist, anti-colonialist, pro-smash the patriarchy, pro-smash white supremacy conversations wherever possible. And obviously, if a piece is more socially or politically aware, it's a lot easier to push those conversations in terms of what we see on the stage itself. Every single show has work to be done behind the scenes. Every single show has someone who's underpaid, someone who's not treated well, someone who's being harassed, someone whose viewpoint isn't properly taken into account. So I think more and more my process is to try to engage in these backstage issues as much as possible because they are so ubiquitous.
On that note, I realized that you have a sign right above your head. Can you give a quick shout out?
That is a banner that my dear friend Jen Stewart made for me for my birthday. So it's a top-notch birthday gift from Jen. It is a banner for the Associated Designers of Canada, who are the professional organization that represent designers. And I am one of the board members of that organization.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Ty, for those questions. Moving over to the creation that you have right now for the relay, I'd like to ask you to tell me one thing about what you're creating and another thing about a specific technique that you might be using.
So our piece that we're creating is about a woman named Betty Fisher from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
You also don't need to give everything away.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Her
Okay.
name is Betty Fisher from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
And we are using a technique that is perhaps as different as possible as the techniques that were used in week 1.
On that note, I'm going to thank you both for your time. I'm going to let you get back to creation. As for everyone else watching, we'll see you next Thursday for episode 2 of The Relay. Thank you.